Good morning, bright and early. Thank you for tuning into the Breakfast Club. Well, it's been a year of conversations that actually stuck. Guests who showed up without filters, stories that landed without shouting. As we step into a brand new year, we take a moment to look back at the conversations that mattered the most, the clips we kept coming back to. Here's the best of TBC 2025.
A sound from the Gulf can really make an impact like this, especially when it's not really understandable.
Footballer, every child wanted to play either in Mohun Bagan or East Bengal, and when I got a contract at the age of 17 to sign and play, I think that itself was massive.
My images on places like a barber shop in Udaipur or some firework or a pataka dabba somewhere on the back of an auto, right? So that entire year after Virat and Anushka's wedding was just sublime.
मेरी एज भी दिखाई उन्होंने 75 साल और 100 साल का होगा 175.
First, we start with a song that broke the internet. This is Flipper Ashe, the voice behind a viral moment that caught everyone off guard from the blockbuster Dhurandhar. Listen in. Through Fasla, it was used as the entry theme for Akshay Khanna. The two, your voice and his entry, complemented each other so well, we're all confused. Is it you? Is it him? Who's to be given the credit?
Actually, I think we work as a team, and actually it's teamwork. And first of all, thank you for having me. And it's crazy how a sound from the Gulf can really make an impact like this, especially when it's not really understandable, but it's shockingly astounding, to be honest. But yeah, it's both of us. We did the track, and Outlaw just he's the master of he's been producing, I think, more than 20 years right now, and he's the guy that you want to call if you want a banger or a hit.
Yeah? Okay. But everyone has been trying their luck getting the song right. Flipper Ashe. Tell us, what does the song mean? What's the inspiration behind the lyrics? How did you begin writing it, putting it together, coming out with the music that's taken internet by storm the way it has?
Yeah, it started in the studio. Outlaw has first produced the beat. He had this idea of putting the sample of the Chennai and then, you know, doing the tabla and all of that, bringing the Indian flavor into it. And he told me, like, we want to have fun with it. So we were stuck in the studio. We were trying to bring up, we were trying to make the chorus first. So it's like, dus, yahi khosh fasala. So that was the first step. That was the thing that really like kickstarted the whole song. And then it was all about, you know, let's see what we can write in the verses. The verses contained a couple of dances that I have created in my mind. But then I had to, like, you know, actually do them in real life. So they had to make sense. So the dances, like صبوحة خطبها نصيب, and the karak bayad, jib li karak wahid, dance, all that. It's a lot of dances. So we wanted to have fun. We wanted to make people have fun with it and groove with it. So that's how it came by.
And well, there was one email, an honest moment at work, and a very public conversation on empathy which took the internet by storm. This story from Gurgaon sparked a bigger question about mental health in offices. What really was the story here? Take us all the way back.
So I think, so for us, this was not something very, you can say, surprising, because in any which way in our organization, like, so the average age is like 22 or 23. So mostly Gen Z is working, right? And what I noticed is they don't have like any kind of fears. So we have like a culture to talk about any kind of stuff because we are running a dating apps. So we had like a conversation mostly like relationship, you know, all these stuff is very common for us. It's not something like, you know, anyone feel uncomfortable about all these, you know, conversations. So first thing that I noticed, like for us, it was not like very, you can say surprising, so-called, that you got a breakup mail and then you basically, you approve the leave. For us, was like, okay, it's okay. It's
That's
not a
the
big
work
deal
culture
because,
you're maintaining. Is that what you're saying,
yeah.
Jasveer?
So yeah, that we were not surprised. By the way, like when I shared online, and then I got to know, like, okay, this is like a big deal that people are talking about good thing, bad thing, Gen Z, millennial, XYG, like thousands of things that people are talking about. But for us, it was not something like which was, like very surprising.
Did
We
you have
said,
to
okay,
at
it's
any
okay.
point give in to some sort of pressure? Does it come across as pressure, especially because you own a dating app, because you're working on this whole concept, not taking a breakup? Well, did that decision come from any pressure that you felt in that moment?
Not really, not really. It's not about because think about it. Humans don't have two brains, right? If somebody is going through something like bad in their life, and you are constantly thinking the workplace they go and they simultaneously they're going to change their brain. That's not going to happen, right? They have the same brain is going to dealing with the breakup and the work, right? So if somebody is not able to focus on a work, and this is going to reflect in a work also, right? If like something is personally they have not going through. So so your question is basically that we were like, because we are running a dating apps, because of that we are giving living? No. So we
No, because
have,
there are a lot of comments. A lot of people have come in for praises.
Yeah.
They've said that this model needs to be copied pan-India, across work cultures, no matter how small or big your team is. But there are those who've also said that this perfectly fits well for a dating app. The virality of it is what is being spoken of, and then they're coming in with a little bit of criticism. What is your message to
No,
all of them?
I know. Like whenever you say something that there is a whole army to talk about, like online. So people will say that okay, this might be a planned and stuff like that. There was nothing as such, like
Okay.
you can't plan such kind of stuff like where you plan and one day you wake up and you get like a 15 million views on Twitter. That's not practically possible. If this is possible, then like everyone can do such kind of stuff, and then every single day they'll become a news. No, that's not the reality.
And next up, we get you a conversation about slowing the mind in a world that refuses to pause. Dr. Schneider and Bob Roth spoke to us on what meditation really looks like beyond just the buzzwords. Have included it in their 2025 guidelines in the context of non-pharmacological therapy to reduce blood pressure. Good morning, doctor. Second guest is Bob Roth, the CEO of David Lynch Foundation and someone who has taught TM in some of the highest pressure environments in the world. We'll talk about the impact it has had on the several people he's interacted through the years. Thank you, Bob. Good morning to you. We'll come to you in just a bit. First up, I do want to go across to Dr. Schneider. Really tell us about the science, the research he's been part of for years now. Doctor, walk us through the specific evidence that has convinced two of the world's most influential heart bodies to include TM, Transcendental Meditation, in its 2025 guidelines.
Yes, Kritzween. The main point is that cardiovascular disease, which is mainly heart attack and stroke, is the leading cause of death in the world. Not only in the United States, but also in Asia, in India, and every region of the world. So the American Heart Association and the American College of Cardiology and related associations have been looking and evaluating at ways to prevent and treat this epidemic of modern time in the most effective ways. And for the past 50 years, those ways have been primarily using drugs, medications, surgeries when necessary, and lifestyle. And lifestyle has been mainly diet and exercise. However, the big breakthrough in just this past season has been in the latest publication of these organizations. They've recognized the role of the mind in heart health. They call it stress, psychosocial stress, they call it, and how the mind or the brain can cause stress hormones and activation of the stress-related nervous system, and that affects the heart and blood vessels and can accelerate high blood pressure, which leads to damage in the blood vessels and heart attack and stroke. So the role of the mind in heart health was the first part of the big breakthrough just this past couple of months. The second big breakthrough in the review of these top cardiologists and physicians is that you can do something about the stress. And they evaluated stress reduction methods.
Let's start with you now. You've taken TM to 1.5 million people and counting through your foundation. What are the big changes to people's lives that you've seen through this practice? Tell us a little bit about these stories of transformation.
Well, it's wonderful to be here, and it's wonderful to hear from Dr. Schneider and the positive response from the medical community to his work and so many other cardiologists who've looked at transcendental meditation. I like seeing how it gets translated in the lives of individuals, whether it's top CEOs of corporations like a Ray Dalio, or it's top educators or top healthcare workers. What we find actually within a few days of learning the meditation, it takes about an hour a day over 4 consecutive days to learn it from a certified teacher. And it's just done sitting comfortably in a chair with the eyes closed. It's a silent mental technique. You receive a mantra from the teacher, and the teacher teaches you how to use it effortlessly. What you see within a few days, and the research shows this, is a statistically significant reduction in anxiety, depression, burnout, heart disease. Within several weeks or a month, you start seeing a reduction in high blood pressure. And so the reason for this is not some miraculous whatever. It's because transcendental meditation seems to access a mechanism within the brain and the nervous system to take profound rest at will.
And a German-Indian actor with stories that don't fit into neat boxes. Suzanne Burnett spoke about identity, work, and finding space on screen. In Indian cinema for so long now, it's a 2-decade association and counting. And you've given us so many films. You're giving us such entertainment through how you've commanded the Hindi language too. Tell us a little bit about what about India struck you right at the beginning, if we go back in time, to the extent that you decided to call this your home. What was that one feeling, that one realization that hit you the most?
What was very interesting that Shuruvaat mein, I actually didn't know when I got an invitation by a friend who's a filmmaker and a director that come to India, be with my family. In 2004, September, I had to look at the map because India wasn't on my list. I've been to South Korea, I've been to Taiwan, but India wasn't on my list, and I don't know why. But then when I landed here and everybody was telling me, you're so German, you will not be able to handle it. It is such a chaotic place, and it's this and that, and you know all the tropes that people pull out and say about the country. But when I landed here, I had a feeling of ease, a feeling of I'm okay here. I feel at home here, and I think in the beginning was such a whirlwind. Because, right, I got Balaji and I was doing Kasauti, and that is like 16, 18 hours a day you're shooting, and then you don't really realize what's going on in your life. And then I fell in love with Akhil, and then we got married, and life just kept on going, and I think just the moment it hits you when you fly back to meet your parents, and then you're excited to fly back home. I mean, I keep on flying home. I fly to my parents, I fly home, and when I fly back to India, I fly home. So when you get excited on landing that you're back in the country that has given you so much, and where you just want to live.
Life happened.
Life happened. That's India for you. Life happens. Don't plan anything.
Lovely. 2025 has been an interesting year for the world of entertainment. We got down with 3 actors, a table, and an unfiltered chat. Rashmika Mandana, Nawazuddin Siddiqui, and Ayushmann Khurrana on the film Thama and everything around it. Start with Nawaz. You've already teased the wonderful work he's done in the film, Nawaz. A new genre for you as well, to an extent, would that be correct?
Of course, मेरे लिए तो बिल्कुल ही हाँ मैंने खुद नहीं सोचा था
तो
इस तरह का पड़ेगा मेरे
स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ी तो क्या आया ज़हन में?
मुझे सिर्फ आइडिया बताया था कि इनकी बड़ी मेरी तो ख्वाहिश पहले से थी, हम लोग मिलते थे बीच बीच में, बस ये बोल के चले जाते करेंगे साथ में काम करना। मैंने कब करेंगे, इतने महीने हो गए, बदलापुर एक लास्ट किया था,
साल हो गए,
सालों हो गए। तो ऐसे इसीलिए मेरी एज भी दिखाई उन्होंने, 75 साल और 100 साल का हूँ।
175
तब से वेट ही कर रहा था। बट मुझे ये आइडिया नहीं था कि इस तरह का कैरेक्टर आएगा मुझे। तो ये एक दिन बुला के ऑफिस में बोले कि इस तरह का है कुछ। मैं ठीक है देखते हैं, क्या करना तो था ही मुझे, बट इस तरह का मैंने सोचा नहीं था। मैंने हॉरर फिल्म की है, लेकिन हॉरर कॉमेडी जॉनर ये मेरा पहला अटेम्प्ट है, मतलब। तो मैंने अभी कुछ देखा नहीं, तो मैं भी एक्साइटेड हूँ कि कैसा निकल के आया होगा। तो लेट्स सी।
अभी कुछ देखा नहीं है, that's kind of hard to digest. I mean, I'm sure you all get little glimpses of the hard work you've put in. Right?
Only while we dubbed, we saw the glimpses. That was like 50, 60, 70% of the film. But apart from that, we have no idea because this is heavy on VFX and the post is very heavy. So we'll eventually see it like day after, maybe 18th.
Yeah.
So it's also the first VFX you all have experienced, 3 of you as actors.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Rashmika. Maybe.
No, it is.
Rashmika is VFX in herself.
Why would you
Doesn't
say
need
that?
VFX. She doesn't need
I'm not
VFX.
going to let go of that. Why would you say that?
Visual wonder.
Oh my God, how you've just
Flipped it. I flipped it.
crazy.
Okay. Ayushman, I'll go to Rashmika in just a bit. I'll save the best for the lady in the last. But I also want to ask you about experimenting. So you've typically gone for very unconventional roles right from the beginning, Vicky Donor to Thama, and it's been quite a journey. How do you typically decide what role you're going to play? Do you sign up for it in advance thinking of a certain role you'll be playing, or this is what I want to pull off? Or does these kind of roles end up coming to you? Does that happen
I always keep the
automatically,
film
organically?
first. I always keep the film first, the story first, and the uniqueness of the content.
How is it always so different
unique.
and so unique?
I think I'm full of gratitude that universe has conspired in that case, that I get to collaborate with great minds, and all my films have been disruptive in a way, and Maddock has the same think tank, and Dinu believes in that. And whenever he has something disruptive or unique, every time he has one, we've collaborated on Bala in the past.
Exquisite comfort, bespoke hospitality, culinary excellence. Big words, huh? Trust me, the experience here is far bigger. That's Air India now. In another world, an element is born. Enchanting, bewitching. Celebrating 10 years of Nexa. Introducing the Phantom Black Edition by Grand Vitara. Nexa.
A decisive leader, a visionary, a nation builder. Shri Amit Shah, Honorable Union Home Minister of India, addresses India's changemakers. At the India Business Leader Awards, Standard Chartered presents the CNBC TV18 India Business Leader Awards.
Presented by Standard Chartered. Associate sponsor, Reliance Industries.
Your enamel has one job: to protect your teeth for life. The enamel is the hard outer protective layer of your teeth. But daily foods and drinks contain acids that slowly wears away your enamel. And when your enamel is gone, many dental problems follow. I recommend Pronamel by Sensodyne daily. Pronamel is scientifically formulated to give you 2 times stronger enamel protection. Pronamel, it's good for your tooth enamel.
in this high AQI in the Delhi and NCR, the 3 non-negotiable steps that patients and any person has to be take. They should wear mask, they should clean their throat regularly, and if there is any symptom, they should consult to the doctors. Any respiratory symptom, they should consult to the doctor. And this is very important because high AQI can lead to so many respiratory and other illness also.
Hyper is a state of mind. TBS N-Talk 150, India's first hyper sports scooter, is here.
सामने नया सुपरमार्केट खुलने वाला है। क्या करूं कि पुराने कस्टमर भी रहें और नए भी आ जाएं?
देखो, आप दुकान के बाहर एक चाय कॉर्नर लगा सकते हो। चाय पीते पीते पुराने कस्टमर बातचीत करेंगे, उन्हें देखकर नए कस्टमर भी आएंगे और एक्स्ट्रा कमाई भी होगी। इसके अलावा आपके बिल्स देख के समझ लेते हैं कि कौन सा सामान कितना बिका है।
माई भाई, do you know any cool bank जो डिजिटल फर्स्ट हो?
SBI कूलेस्ट है।
What?
डिजिटल लोन्स 30 मिनट, AI मॉडल्स 140 प्लस, योनो यूजर्स 9 करोड़, डेली UPI ट्रांजैक्शंस 33 करोड़।
कूल तो है।
चलो, SBI, the banker to every Indian. Truly.
And how can we forget the most compelling conversation of 2025? Delhi air, daily damage, and no easy exits. Wellness expert Luke Coutinho broke down what pollution is doing to our bodies right now. Tell us, Luke, of the conversations you've had, of the patterns you've witnessed. Are we beginning to treat air pollution as a seasonal inconvenience? Have we truly woken up to the reality? We keep saying, oh my God, look around. But do you think that's becoming a chorus on repeat with no real change on ground?
Yeah, thanks for having me here. Absolutely. And that's my biggest fear. You see, we can have problems, but we have to have a plan that leads towards a solution. What I feel is happening now is it's getting normalized. And I think everything's getting delayed. And the whole thing is that the government, the environment, department and the people are not on the same page. Everything is just actually being pushed till March, where the air will clear and then we'll have a couple of months of great air. Everything will be forgotten. And then we'll go through this next year again. You know, I think our biggest disability right now is normalizing things and accepting it too easily, not understanding the extent of damage it's doing to, you know, babies that are in wombs right now, senior citizens, and every single person who has to breathe in toxic air. And that's a huge concern that people are just accepting this and people are challenging what the doctors are saying. There are reports saying that, oh, air pollution has nothing to do with lung cancer, air pollution has nothing to do with disease. And that's the point. Where is this going to lead to if people are even ignoring what top doctors across, not just India, across the world, are saying and even proving through science the impact of toxic air on all of us at this moment?
Yeah, because, you know, before asking questions, posing questions to those who are in charge, we must ask these questions to ourselves as well. Luke, some people, and I say this because some people in particular are still going out for walks. We see those images every now and then. Some are still smoking. What are they not realizing is happening to their bodies when they expose their bodies and their lungs to this kind of air?
See, it's pretty simple if I have to make it really, really simple, because a lot of people talk about cancer, respiratory problems, and it's all right. But all of these conditions arrive from DNA that gets corrupt. Every time we have exposure to toxic air, our DNA is corrupting. All disease is born from a cell. every cancer is born from a cell. Every respiratory problem, every fluctuation of disease is born from a cell, which starts off from your DNA programming going wrong. And that's what toxic air is doing. It's affecting every one of your trillions of cells. Now, when you're working out, you always breathe heavier. You're running, you're walking, which means your heart-lung capacity is working at optimum. You're taking in more of the toxic air, and your body's struggling to filter that out. It never filters it out completely because none of us really breathe the full way. When we sit down to do pranayama, we take complete inhales and complete exhales. That's how we should be breathing. So all of this is now accumulating, leading to systemic inflammation, and you have DNA corruption. It's a perfect disaster for deadly diseases. So people have to realize, but I want to be fair over here. People are also fed up. They'd rather just go out and get a walk for their mental health, and they're like, whatever has to happen, happens. I spoke to a 82-year-old man who doesn't miss his walks, and he's walking in polluted areas as well, Delhi and Mumbai. And he said, hey, if I have to die, I have to die, but enough is enough. No one's going to solve the problem. I just want to go for a walk and feel happy.
And then there was this viral claim, a packet of ORS, and a lot of confusion online. Revant, or food farmer, cut through the noise with facts that actually matter on the fake ORS controversy. Farmer Revant, what's been your analysis? You've done a little bit of math, you've taken the story forward, and you've said this is very concerning. If 180 crore worth of ORSLs were to be found in medical stores, on shelves, back again, it could mean distribution of about 4 crore Tetra packs, correct?
Yes. So basically, JNTL or the ORSL, basically they said that they still have 180 crores worth of stock which they want to clear. Now, the selling price of ORSL is around 45 rupees. So if you do simple math of 180 crore divided by 45, it's like 4 crore packs. Now, if you assume that, even if you assume that 25% of them are consumed by children, that's 1 crore packs going straight into the bodies of children. So that's the challenge, that it's a lot of people who are going to get affected if this court has stayed this order. The other thing is, I am assuming this 180 crore is based on the selling price. Assuming it's based on the cost price, it will be even more. Because the cost would probably be 20-25 rupees. Or even lesser. So if you do 180 crore divided by 20 to 23 rupees, then the number of packs of fake ORSL is even more. So that's the challenge, which is why I'm opposing this very aggressively, is that we don't want lakhs or crores of children. Ideally, I would not even want one child to consume this, which is why both the doctor and I have been opposing this.
Prioritizing marketing to an extent that medicine is being ignored. Do you think that's what's gone wrong here?
Yes, by and large, that we prioritize marketing, unfortunately, in every space. So the industry is prioritizing marketing, and we ignore the health impacts, and sometimes we justify things based on freedom of choice and legal loopholes. So like a small tiny disclaimer, not an ORS. So technically they were legally compliant potentially. So the challenge is that with every law you pass, there can be some loophole which someone can find and say that we are legally compliant. So even in the past, when I have fought some legal battles with companies and I have called out fake marketing, they keep saying one thing: we are compliant with the law. I never said that you're not compliant with the law. All I usually say in my videos is that you're misleading the users. So I think that's the thing that they use. There's a line, creative visualization. You'll see a big orange, but there'll be barely any orange in juice and things like that. So they use creative visualization to an extent where it becomes lying almost.
Indian football, hard truths and harder decisions, a conversation triggered by the arrival of Lionel Messi to India. Bhaichung Bhutia and director of Minerva Academy Football Club, Ranjit Bajaj, spoke about what's broken and what isn't, and what needs urgent intervention. All of last week, we've heard of so much football. So let's take you back in time a little. What was the football ecosystem like when you started playing? And this, we're talking about early 90s, in terms of facilities, in terms of money, and possibly respect as well.
I think in terms of facilities, I think obviously it was limited, but the joy of just playing in a big club like East Bengal was so much fun, and it was really big because every footballer, every child wanted to play either in Mohun Bagan or East Bengal. And when I got a contract at the age of 17 to sign and play, I think that itself was massive. So we're not really looking about, we didn't really care about the kind of conditions, because obviously we're talking of this as around 90s, early 90s, 91, 92. And I think everywhere, the facilities and the infrastructure, everything was bit challenging. So for me to come from Sikkim and play in a Kolkata Maidan in East Bengal was I think more prestigious, more fun, and I did not really look into the kind of facilities and infrastructure. Then it was just proud and proud feeling to have just signed with a club like East Bengal.
Everything was for the love of the game, for love of football. Bhaichung, was there a sense that this could be a viable career in India? And again, we're talking about early 90s.
No, I think a lot of the players those days played football to play for India and then get a job either in railways, services, PSUs or somewhere. A lot of them were in armies as well. So yeah, I think when I first played for India in 95. My seniors, I was just 18 when I made my debut, and all the senior players that played alongside me were all with jobs in different PSUs, banks, and all that. So I think it was more of playing for India, getting a good job, and establishing yourself and making your life little comfortable and more easy.
And if I may ask, Bhaichung Bhutia, what has changed the most since your playing days? Because you've been tracking this journey, you've been part of it, now you're in the coaching space. What big changes have you seen since your playing days?
No, I think with time, things have changed for good. First change was the cable networks came into India, private sports channels came in, India opened up to the world. We went, globalization came into it, and things changed. Then football was telecast live in private channels, which was watched across India, even outside India as well. And then the semi-professional or professional league in India started with National League, and then slowly it evolved into better quality league, which is now called Indian Super League. So I think in terms of players, facilities, in terms of salaries, in terms of infrastructure, I think things have changed. And also, players have become household names.
Yeah.
And you can see, I think the quality of football and quality of infrastructure and quality of facilities have everything changed for good.
Your academy, the under-14 team, has rewritten Indian football history by conquering Europe's biggest youth tournaments all in one single year. So tell us what you got right.
Ma'am, like you have been pointing out very right, and like we just had Bhaichung say the magic words, that you are not going to suddenly produce a senior team which goes and does wonders in the world without it having ever have done wonders at a junior age group. So if you're not going to win the under-14s and then the under-16s and the under-19s in Asia, you don't even think of qualifying. See, ma'am, forget about qualifying for the World Cup. You qualify for the World Cup by being in the top 4 in Asia, and now because you've got 64 teams, maybe the top 8 in Asia. And how far are we? We are ranked 16th in Asia, and even sometimes even going down to 20th. We have been in a free fall for a couple of years. And that's again due to, yes, ISL coming in, like Bhaichung said, and professionalism being brought in. The good things about ISL you cannot deny. But it's like, you're driving in in Las Vegas F1, but you're driving on a Maruti. Okay, so the the standards around football, the glamour, the pitches, the infrastructure, and the professionalism is all there. But the standard is not up.
Speaking of football, young, focused and already playing the long game, Urban Negi speaks about discipline, about his football dreams and growing up too fast. Good morning, Urban. Hi, hope you're doing well. Urban, how does it feel being part of Everton's Youth Academy, wearing that jersey for the first time?
I felt good that I got into the team, and I felt also excited and happy that I was a part of Everton Academy.
Urban, look at you dribbling the way you are. At what age did you start playing football?
I started playing football at 5 years of age, and then I just fell in love to it, and then now it's my favourite game to play. And I play it every day.
And do you have any interests outside of football? So are there any other games or any other sport that interests you?
Well, I play like a bit of bowling and some crazy golf.
Okay, some crazy golf it is. Okay. Urban, any changes you noticed as soon as you joined a Premier Academy? Any changes in your game, in your style or the environment that you're training in?
So I felt changes that I had to make new friends because I was born in London and I played for Crystal Palace in London. And then the changes I felt were that it's going to be harder because I was on trial for them, so I had to work my hardest. And also I had to, the changes were that they got very different abilities to in London. So sometimes in London, players are very dribbly and they dribble loads. And then players here, they do 1-2s, passes and tiki-taka.
You know, I can't get over these visuals of you dribbling the way you are. Urban, let's talk a little bit about football skills. Is it dribbling, passing or shooting? Which one is your favourite?
My favourite is probably shooting.
And from the world of sports, two minds, one board and very different journeys. Fabiano Caruana and Pragnanda in a rare grounded chess conversation. Hear it for yourself. Prag, I want to first up begin with you. How different is playing in a league like GCL compared to your classical tournaments?
Yeah, it's completely different. It's about the team. It's not, individual performance don't really matter if the team does well at the end of the day. So I'm enjoying with my team, and hopefully last few days will go our way as well.
And you don't hear chess players say that very often, isn't it? Fab, what excited you about a league format like GCL? Because this is your first season.
Well, it's just a fun tournament to play a bit of faster time control and with my team.
I can make out that you'll all have had a few exhaustive days. Rakshit, let's come to you. Chess League at Royal Opera House is one of its kind, since this venue is typically known for drama, a lot of performances. What was the thought behind turning it into a chess battlefield?
The GCL features a lot of drama, entertainment and performances, so I don't think it's very different than any other form of theatre. We've seen some incredible performances over the board. Two of the gentlemen that are on our panel right now have had some great matches. So in that sense, I think a theatre works for what we're trying to achieve. The idea was to put in both an element of theatre over the board at the Royal Opera House where they're playing, but also be able to accompany that with a fan zone where fans can actually closely interact with all our players, including Prag and Fabi, and we've been quite overwhelmed with the response to that. So it's a gamble that paid off, I think, and it's given us something to think about in terms of how we go forward.
How nice. Prag, you are, as we speak, one of the faces of the new generation of Indian chess. What responsibilities, though, are you typically shouldering while playing in a league tournament vis-a-vis your classical tournaments? Is the pressure any less?
I think there's less pressure here for sure. I mean, compared to playing some, extremely important tournament like candidates, for example. Yeah, I think compared to that, there is certainly less pressure. And when you play as a team, I think you also you have less pressure because even if you lose, there will always be someone to score that important win. So you can always depend on the team, even if things don't go your way. So I mean, overall, I think it's a great format to have in chess.
And do team leagues, Prag, change the way you take risks or approach a position because you've got so your support system right there by your side? Does it change how you approach the game?
Yeah, certainly. I think it's not about individual game, but more of a team. So sometimes you have to take more risks. Sometimes, you have to try and make a draw. It depends on according to the team situation.
Fab, is it challenging for you, for someone like you, to switch from deep classical thinking to faster? And this is a very spectator-friendly format. So how is the switch for you? How is it connecting, most importantly, with large audiences gathered outside the venue when you're making your way to the venue?
Not so different. I think it's about the same. Yeah, I think it's a very impressive crowd. It's nice to see.
In another world, an element is born. Enchanting, bewitching. Celebrating 10 years of Nexa. Introducing the Phantom Black Edition by Grand Vitara. Nexa.
Meet the leaders who move India forward. Visionaries, nation builders, policy architects, change makers, path breakers, trailblazers, and industry titans. On the nation's most prestigious leadership awards platform, where excellence earns the highest honor. Standard Chartered presents the CNBC TV18 India Business Leader Awards.
Presented by Standard Chartered. Associate sponsor, Reliance Industries.
Thank you.
Enjoy your meal.
Neither the middle seat nor the meal is a sandwich. That's Air India now.
मेरा इन्वेस्टमेंट डूब गया,
मेरे रिटर्न्स रुक गए,
मेरा अकाउंट क्या करूं?
कौन हेल्प करेगा?
कहां करूं शिकायत?
आरबीआई के सचेत पोर्टल पर।
क्या?
हाँ? ऑनलाइन फ्रॉड्स, फेक इन्वेस्टमेंट स्कीम्स, अनऑथराइज्ड डिपॉजिट्स और अन्य फाइनेंशियल क्राइम्स की शिकायत यहाँ करें, जिससे संबंधित संस्था तक भेजा जाएगा ताकि सही कार्यवाही हो।
आरबीआई कहता है,
सचेत रहें, सुरक्षित रहें।
Hyper is a state of mind. TBS N-Top 150, India's first hyper sports scooter, is here.
Let's now move on to a short but sharp moment with Goa's Chief Minister. This is the special Breakfast Club edition where no politics, no heavy talk, just a relaxed chat with Goa's Chief Minister. This was a rare off-duty moment, talking life beyond being a politician. Listen in.
अगर आपके दोस्त होते जो गोवा को देखने आ रहे हैं और उन्होंने कहा कि हमारे पास 2 दिन हैं, हम क्या करें, तो आप उन्हें क्या क्या बोलते?
मैं स्पेसिफिकली आया नहीं, दोस्त आते हैं गोवा में, तो मैं उनको कहता हूँ कि एक दिन यू कैन स्पेंड ऑन द कोस्टल साइड, ईदर ऑन द नॉर्थ अदरवाइज साउथ. द मैक्सिमम पीपल प्रीफर द नॉर्थ गोवा सो दैट इट इज़ एन हैपनिंग प्लेस रहती हैं. और द सेकेंड डे मैं हमेशा के लिए उनको कहता हूँ, क्योंकि आप इंटीरियर गोवा थोड़ा सा देखिए, क्योंकि इंटीरियर गोवा में द टेम्पल्स और द बाकी जो इनलैंड वाटरवेज बाकी सब कुछ के लिए प्रीफर करो.
And well, the faces behind the frames we all recognize. Joseph Radhik on celebrity photography and capturing people as they are. You're going to hear in this conversation all top celebrities, the moments that have taken the internet by storm. Can we start with the one question that must be asked of you? We're going to try and put you in a little bit of a spot now because we've seen the Virat Anushka photographs, we've seen Katrina, Vicky photographs, we've seen Aditi Rao and Siddharth photographs. Yeah. They've taken the internet by storm. Each of these weddings, if I were to ask you, which one of these was your favorite experience? What would you say?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot because I'm totally expecting one of the brides to text me if I don't take their name right now. No, but honestly though, I think 2017 when I shot Virat and Anushka's wedding, it was extremely special for me. It's a photographer's dream for their work to be seen by, a few million people, right? And to think that my work in fact went so viral in that moment, and that so many people saw it across the world. A lot of photographers argue when their images are used without copyright, but I was on the other end who was just super happy, grinning to see my images on places like a barber shop in Udaipur or some firework or a pataka dabba somewhere or the back of an auto, right? So that entire year after Virat and Anushka's wedding was just sublime. Okay, and last year for Radhika and Anand's wedding, it was the next level for that, right? If the whole of India saw these photos, then the whole of the world witnessed those images, right? I literally cannot tell you. It was my childhood dream to make photos, that would be published somewhere. But to think that my photos would go that far is something that I never anticipated.
Can we just pull up that Virat and Anushka photo again? And there is a few. There's also one, I think, where one of them is kissing the other on the forehead, or they're about to. It just looks
That's Joe's favorite picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
no, he is kissing.
Yeah. Joe, if we could ask you, so you've been doing this for more than a decade now, but as you say, that was kind of the start of the honest and raw celebrity photo. And you kind of brought that to the fore. Can I ask you, how much of that is the couple's own input? So tell us, is it, Anushka sitting down with you, or maybe Virat sitting down with you and saying, I want my photos to look different, I want there to be that honesty. How much of that is a couple's input? Tell us.
Okay, excellent question. I think their input primarily was that I should be there to document the wedding, right? And beyond everything else, just to document the wedding so that the world can see the kind of wedding that they had without any input from them, without any input from me or from them during any of these moments. Correct? I think that itself I was left smiling to hear somebody say that these images should portray a real view of their wedding, right? I think that was something that till that point at least, whenever you saw celebrity photos, they would be dramatically posed, very polished, etc. But like in the image on screen right now, you can literally see the crow's feet in their eyes, right? None of these images are retouched. There was no professional retoucher with me during those days. It was just me editing these photos and giving them, and then the world seeing them within minutes. That was it, right? And again, so I think there's 1 or 2 photos which are on Sabyasachi's page and was on the cover of Filmfare, which are posed photos, but the rest of it, everything is completely candid photography, right? And I was just explaining how candid photography today is a term that is butchered, right? In the essence of it, the camera should be invisible. It should not exist. I should be invisible. And I think that's what you see in these photos. If you were a guest at that wedding, this is how you would have seen the wedding. That's it. I think that's the biggest thing I can tell you.
Let's now move on to this very special interaction with my colleague, a creator stepping into a new chapter. Prajakta Kohli speaks about her book, Writing Honestly, Mental Health and Being Seen Beyond the Screen.
12 or 13.
Yeah.
Okay, firstly, for people our age, that's rare. That's so cool that, you know, you met someone and you have both just sort of been so focused about it through the last few years. That's no. I was going to ask you exactly that. What is that like? How do two people at that, in their early 20s, going through the career trajectory you were going through, keep coming back to each other, deciding, yes, you are the one? What does that look like?
I think it was a mix of many things. There was definitely love, yes. I'll never debate that, because the stuff we've put up with for each other, love can be the only answer to that, because you're blind and you're stupid in love, and only then can you stand some tests of time that are very, very tough in general when it comes to relationships. So that though I'll never debate. But beyond that, I think it was a mix of comfort. It was a mix of habit, because when you grow up with someone, sometimes when things got tough, we were also scared to walk away because we were so used to each other. There was this whole sense of comfort and security that had come in each other's company. Like I say that to him so many times, I'm like, there are so many times when I love you, but I don't like you.
That's a...
Yeah, but that had come because of the very important years of our life that and like you said, like both of our lives changed in this decade that we spent together, where we went from being in college to he started working at the High Court, and then I started working at the radio station, then he moved from practicing law to corporate law, and then I have moved on to everything on digital. And we kind of kept growing. As we kept growing older, we kept growing further different from each other. And in some strange way, I think that worked, because I don't completely understand what he does. He doesn't completely understand what I do, but we give each other that space. So because our individual lives are still existent, when we come together, we have
it's like a dance,
an equation.
A beautiful two separate dances.
Yeah,
you know,
so that equation has stayed the same, and we've worked very, 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 very hard. There have been times when I don't believe how patient he's been with me. And there have been times where I don't believe that I was so patient also. So it's been a lot of work, but eventually I think the only thing that worked was that neither of us walked away. And sometimes it didn't even come from a place of commitment or love or support or anything. I think it just came from a place of comfort and habit.
Speaking of performances, no performance or character, just the actor talking life and work. Manoj Bajpayee on Family Man, Fame and Staying Grounded in this very exclusive.
Police officer का किरदार तो goes back to Shul. Manoj from then to, you know, from a serious cop with so much depth to the character to now finally having played so many roles and reaching this point of playing Inspector Jhende. How was it for you?
It was fun actually. Because
so much humor in that character.
Yeah, a lot of humor.
And straight-faced.
Yeah, because Jhende sir himself is a very easygoing person. There are many things that one has imagined about Jhende sir. But there are many things which one tried to keep it like that. A is very devoted to his family, to his wife, that he still is, though Mrs. Jhende passed away, but is still carrying the T-shirt where Mrs. Jhende's photograph is there. So you can imagine the love between both of them. So we tried to create that even through the performance. So someone, even my co-actor Girija, she's a beautiful actress. Someone asked her for how many long you've known Manoj Bajpayee. So that's the beauty of the chemistry that could happen on the screen, that it really looked like that there is a couple who is interacting with each other. The whole idea came from his own life. Okay, so when you are getting the essence and the idea of the person who you are playing, and with a lot of more sincerity and honesty, I think you start looking or sounding like the real person. Here we are talking about one person who is devoted to his and very sincere to his duty, and also his valor and all his glory, and those things are real. It happened.
जब आप किसी का किरदार निभा रहे हैं, किसी के जिंदगी पे, you're literally putting out a film, an piece of art. How close do you typically, and this is a little detailed question, how close do you have to get to that person and his life, and how do you draw that line? क्योंकि एक इंसान भी कितना शेयर करेगा, कितना बताएगा. So as an artist, how do you approach that kind of a situation?
I wanted to meet Mr. Jhende before we started, but Chinmay said no. Please don't meet him, because I don't want, because what he has done, he was 48, 49. Now he's at a certain age, so the similarities will not be there. Okay, so I want you to be to think that you are 48, 49, and you are doing that performance, keeping all of these elements in your mind.
And that's all from 2025. Thank you for starting your mornings with us all year long. From all of us at CNN News 18 and Team TBC, wishing you a very happy new year. Hope you have the best start to a smashing 2026. We'll see you in 2026 next. Bye-bye.